Hey, one question, Mac or PC? The discussion has lasted for decades. Hardcore PC users publish tons of articles and videos to demonstrate one so-called fact. You can get an equal performance machine with less amount of money if you choose a PC. Believe it or not, I don't want to refute, but here are some reasons why I stick to Mac. The most astonishing and winning point for Mac is the performance. But let's review some other non-replaceable features now. First, when you get a MacBook, what do you need to do? Push the button and turn it on. Boom, it works. Dive into a work, you probably never need to turn it off. And that's why I'm just unlocking the screen. For 2 years, I've never seen a bloody blue screen since I switched to this MacBook Pro. I never waited for the system to update while getting an urgent job to be done. You know what? That is similar to one of the reasons why people are switching from Adobe Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve 16. Second, the touchpad is crazy. Lots of manufacturers are mimicking the touchpad on MacBook Pro, but I haven't heard one brand that could match Apple's work. Windows 10 added touch screen features for designers on which they could use a pen. Fine, that's a cheat. I could also work like this, as Blackmagic design suggests, if accessories are allowed. That being said, I can testify that with the touchpad on MacBook Pro, you can do the most intricate cutout in Photoshop or Premiere or After Effects better than using a mouse. Sometimes it's just so much more convenient to use your 2 fingers to drag the canvas instead of trying to figure out whether to press Alt or Control to horizontally or vertically scroll it with the middle wheel. You can easily drag and drop a window and set up new workspaces with your fingers on the pad. It feels awesome. Third, macOS system is a Unix-based system, a gift for developers. Command line interface is almost identical to a Linux system, except the font is a little bit more beautiful. You can use a fish shell, use Tmux as a nerd, and easily manage the software with Homebrew. Perfect! If you are from a computer science major and familiar with Linux, you can get all the fancy Linux features with the MacBook. It's super important for me. For instance, when the Finder sucks to find a file, I can always refer to the find command to prevent the graphics from dragging back my efficiency. Fourth, the native software on MacBook is so outstanding. For years, the selling point for Windows is the bundle sale including Internet Explorer, Microsoft Office, and etc. Keynote is so much better than PowerPoint. I think one reason why my presentation slides are often more elegant and well designed than my peers is that I used Keynote template and they used PowerPoint templates. I use Google Chrome as my main browser so that Edge does not attract my eye. And I use WPS for Mac as a substitute for Microsoft Office, which has much better support for Chinese fonts, mathematical formulae, a much lower crash rate, and has much smaller disk space occupancy. WPS for Mac is not a native software, but it's a game changer, and it's free to download, so I include it here. Preview allows Mac users to freely edit PDF files, which could be super important when filling out forms or commenting on the application forms if you are one of the admission committees. Since macOS Mojave, we can stack items and keep our desktop clean. The screenshots can be edited exactly on time, and it can become super convenient to take notes while learning something. AirDrop, of course, the best file transfer service. When you meet a friend who also has an Apple device, you can just AirDrop files. No matter how large the file is, you can finish it in seconds. iTunes. When you play with Apple Music in your car or at your party, it's a life changer. You have good music taste, as some excellent people have already selected the music for you. Xcode, which I never open, though I use it all the time. Apple helps you install all the compilers, libraries, development environments, and a single software Xcode. It's actually an excellent IDE. If you want to develop an iOS app for your iPhone or iPad, you have to use a Mac, because other machines simply cannot compile your project. Time Machine. It's a damn lifesaver. Before upgrading your operating system, you need to back up your files. When you write an important essay, you need to back it up. If you cannot afford a RAID disk array, you need at least one external drive to store your backups. Fifth, the screen. You obtain a color-calibrated screen within the purchase of a MacBook Pro. If you have ever tried to color grading your videos or photos on a laptop other than MacBook, you will experience the chromatic aberration. You can refer to scopes for sure, but you can only guess what the color will look like on other people's screens. One solution is to purchase a color-calibrated monitor like this one, LG, and it costs $1,500. Another option is to use an iPad or iPhone to see the final output of your videos or photos. Just export and watch. Don't laugh at it, Hollywood guys also do this. If the color looks correct on an iPhone, it's correct. 6. The battery life and charging speed. If you are a student like me, you can rest assured that taking a MacBook to a classroom is okay, as it will last for 5 hours and you can finish any classes without a charge. What's more, you can refill the battery during your lunch break and use it for another afternoon. It's a laptop, a computer, but you can use it as an iPad. 7. The long-lasting feature. Similar to an iPhone compared to an Android phone, MacBook can maintain performance for a longer period. For instance, my MacBook has accompanied me for 2 years and I didn't feel any performance decreases. On the contrary, my Dell game book sucked after about a year and everything became slower. Since you've never seen a MacBook, you will tolerate your machine and cross fingers to hope it works, but unfortunately it still fails. When you switch to a MacBook, the game changes. This machine simply never fails or slows down. It will save you so much valuable time. Finally, performance, the most important factor. When you're working on a MacBook, the experience is totally different from other laptops or even desktops. Up until the 2017 version, I think the performance of MacBook Pro has already exceeded most family desktop computers. Although the graphics card of that version is not very powerful, it could satisfy game playing like League of Legends. I actually tested it with a Windows system installed in an external SSD drive and boot the MacBook into Windows and played a few LOL games. The experience was even more fluent than on my so-called Dell game book. Back in 2018, I think MacBook Pro might be the only laptop that could run JetBrains products fluently. I've heard so many complaints about the suck of Sea Lion, the slow autocomplete in IntelliJ, and PyCharm super slow, etc. They were all true, and I knew that since I used my Dell gamebook to write codes in Sea Lion. You could not even type the fucking codes in before it sucked. However, that was because I didn't use a MacBook Pro. Even until last week, I saw complaints in our QQ group saying their machines sucked because of the daemon JetBrains. One solution is to just use VS Code or Atom or Brackets as your main code editor. But if you want to experience the intelligent, modern IDEs, you need to switch to MacBook Pro. To be honest, if you are not doing video editing or visual effects rendering work, my 13-inch MacBook Pro 2017 can already oversatisfy your demand. As a developer, I can open 2 virtual machines, one Kali, one Windows, open Chrome with 20 tabs, open the Sea Lion, a VS Code, and don't feel sucked. I promise you that the experience would be much more fluent if you switch to MacBook Pro if you are feeling sucked. Unfortunately for me, I'm freaking in love with filmmaking and color grading. My 13-inch MacBook Pro does not do a good job for real-time playback because it has no powerful independent graphics card. Graphics is also the major improvement of MacBook Pro during these years. The newest 16-inch MacBook Pro uses AMD Radeon Pro 5500 and can real-time playback 4K footages with color grading for more than 60 frames per second. The render time is several times faster than the 2015 version. There's a test that you can view in the link above if you are on YouTube. What I know is that with the 16-inch MacBook Pro, the editing process will never drag me back. But I don't have it. So here are my recommendations for myself. First, upgrade the CPU. I mean, why not? Since I hope to start several Docker containers, some virtual machines, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, Google Chrome, and maybe some smart IDEs. I believe I need 32 GB of RAM, and I absolutely need a better graphics card for Resolve to improve its performance. 1 TB storage is enough for me as I use external drives to store 4K footages, so totally $3,199 excluding the taxes. On the website of Apple China, the same machine sells RMB 27,337. I don't know why, but I can only trade in my MacBook in the US for $1,000. If I type in my serial number to the Apple China website, they tell me that they can recycle it. What the fuck? I mean, okay. Therefore, I probably will update to a newer MacBook after I go to the United States. If it's your first time to look at an Apple computer, I'm gonna tell you it's worth the price. That being said, to utilize the power of a MacBook Pro, you need to be a technical guy, a developer, or better, a video editor, a visual effects creator. If you use your laptop simply for web browsing, Word and Excel, chatting with your friends, the MacBook Pro might be overkilling. So, you are the ones to finally decide whether to switch to MacBook Pro depending on your demand. If you have any further questions, please let me know.